Thomas Vitale. I'm a field rep for SEIU1021. We're here to fight for actual union values for union staff. It's not exactly what we've experienced here over the course of the last 5 to 10 years. What we fight for every day is not what we experience every day from the management here at SEIU, and that's unfortunate.
And what do you mean specifically? What do you feel are the issues that brought you out here today in front of a union hall that you're working for? I mean, that's kind of a radical thing.
Simple. We fight every day for union members to have good benefits, to have an extended, at least sometimes a 3-year contract. In this case specifically, we've been offered a 1-year extension. And then when we turned that down, overwhelmingly, the management came back and offered us a 13-month contract, which is what we would consider at the table to be unacceptable, to be insulting. And when we face that with management in the field or the city, in this case, we fight against it, and these members, this management here, feels the same way we do. But now at the table, there's hypocritical as the city or any other management, and we find that to be insulting and unacceptable.
And why do they want a shorter contract?
The reasons we hear, or the reasons at the table, which we do not accept, are just that, are that there's doubt in the future for this union. There's doubt because of the current Trump administration, and they think that they need to wait until something happens in the future before things stabilize around here.
And the SEIU nationally has said they're talking about cutting their budget 30%. Is this part of, you think, a national effort to cut their costs?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They've already started that. They've actually fired long-term reps already for really no reason at all. They haven't followed the grievance procedure, and they've already started to cut the staff, and the higher paid staff, obviously, because they're experienced and they've been around for a long time. And I think it's premeditated, and it's actually intentional.
How is that going to affect the members, the rank and file members that SEIU 1021 represents?
Well, when you have your most experienced, most knowledgeable, and best reps who have the confidence of the membership being fired, it does affect them. They don't get to experience and enjoy the best field reps. All the reps here are excellent, but you're talking about 20 and 30 years of experience going down the drain because they don't want to pay the higher salaries. And that's just hypocrisy. We fight against that every day.
Is that discrimination against senior employees? I mean,
absolutely. We're also considering filing ULPs as well as an actual legal fight with regards to ageism.
Is that going on in public agencies as well? Getting rid of senior staff so they can bring in younger workers?
All the time. And we as a union, and certainly as reps, fight that and see that every day. And we file grievances, and we have the members file personal cases, legal cases, and in this case we're going to do the same.
And this year, the mergers that took place under Andy Stern merged what were smaller locals in San Francisco, Oakland, throughout Northern California into one big mega local. What effect do you think that's been as far as the functioning of the union and rank and file control?
Frankly, his reasoning was to do that is to build power, and I think what it did was just cause chaos. It's created a corporate type business model here at 1021 and 721 and 521. All it's done is create more management and less labor movement. It may have been a good idea in theory, and philosophy, but in actuality and reality, it's been chaotic and probably more fractional than anything else.
Another concern that some members in SEIU 1021 have said is that the union's spending money and resources on this fight for 15, but their situation on the job is deteriorated. They're not getting the fight back from the union. Is there any truth to that?
Absolutely. You're talking about the hypocrisy that we're here about. We as staff feel that we're treated much like the members that we are out there fighting for. We're not as underpaid or low paid as the fight for 15 people, but we're out there every day to raise their prevailing wage. We're not here really talking about money. We're here talking about the hypocrisy about how the members and the low wage workers are treated. And that's how we feel we're being treated by management here at 1021.
So how can they say they're going to fight for workers and fight for 15 when they apparently violate your contract and target senior employees?
That's why we're here today. We don't know why. It's a mystery to us. There was a day, and I've been in the labor movement for over 38 years, and there was a time and a day when we sat down with. I've always been a union member, and I've always been a member of a union with management. And when we sat down on a contract, when I was a rep with the Teamsters, we just sat down over lunch or coffee, and we figured out what was best for both sides. In this case, it's become a fight. Union members fighting their own union. Union members fighting SEIU. It's hypocrisy to the nth degree. And all I can say is SEIU's turned into a corporate power just like any other Walmart or waste management team.
They got the security team out here.
They got police tape up. How?
Regardless, we work hard now. It's hard. It's hard when you think about your job, you know? I don't mean to start crying, but it's true. I am a child, you know? I'm just saying, sorry, I don't mean to cry, there's not, but just, you know, we just ask you to really support us, you know? And talk to those in power, because it's not like the same, it's not respectful anymore. It's not respectful. We just want to have open communication with our employer, you know, and it's not happening, and we want the exact same thing that you guys want. We want a survival. I mean, I come from the membership, and I came here because this was I love this place. It did a lot for me, it did a lot for my coworkers when I was a member, but it just really is hard just to accept the Trump administration, not being able to feel like you can't fight it, and when we're all here for the same reason. We want to win. We want to make sure we give our members what the government should be giving us. But more importantly, it's like us, like our viability as well. You know, we want to support the membership. We want to definitely just make this place better and be part of that. You know, because we can do it and we can unite and really have a communication.
But it seems like the management here has got a hostile attitude towards the workers.
You know. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I personally have not experienced hostileness. I just see the culture around it and the culture shift and the culture change.
What is the culture change?
It's just, you know, a much more, very stringent, very, like what used to be very liberal feels like very turning more corporate. And so that's how it feels.
There's an issue about the unions in this country. I mean, they've been corporatized, top-down, business-oriented. Are you saying that that's true in SEIU? Just
I think it's the labor movement in general, just a very general thing. In order for it to survive, it has to evolve, and we're trying to be part of that evolution and create change, and have kind of the public view unions in a very different way.
and this isn't helping.
Well, I mean,
You're fighting for your rights.
no, of course, it's not helping, but I feel like we can have open communication to make it that way. To make it what it should be.
And reforming the unions, it seems that there's a big issue in now how the unions are going to deal with Trump, because it seems like despite the fact that Trump has got an onslaught against labor and unions, there's no fight back by the labor movement nationally. Are you worried about that?
I mean, all I'm gonna say is like all hands on deck. Like to the labor movement, all hands on deck. We need to get people, everyone who's involved or is a member needs to be mobilized and educated about what the Trump administration really is about. And I think that we often get caught up with, what kind of public message kind of is going to suit you. And that's what the media, well, in part the media has done that. But I do feel that, all hands on deck, get everyone involved, educate, mobilize, organize.
My name's Angela.
And what does this sign mean to you?
It means that we should get the same things that we fight for other people for. We fight for members every day on a day-to-day basis, and we fight against their management when they're doing them a disservice or being disrespectful or undervaluing them. So, it means that we have to stand up for ourselves. Although we're staff for the union, we still deserve, to be valued and respected.
And why wouldn't the management of the union respect you, since they're supposed to respect workers and they say that they have the principles of a unionism?
I can't answer that.
You think there's a conflict, though, as to what's going on?
They don't, but
What are the issues you face on the job? I mean, trying to struggle to defend the members.
struggling to defend the members. I think that staffing is an issue for us. We constantly having turnover in our staff, and being reassigned. You can be transferred, So, we do what we need to do for the membership, but at the same time, we feel like we should be treated as well as we treat the members.
And if you're transferred around all the time, it takes time to learn a job, learn what the rules are, learn what the people is. How can you really represent people if you're going into a new place and you're stuck in, have no knowledge, and really that causes a problem of trying to represent people, doesn't it?
Yeah, but as a rep, I think that when you're a rep, it's a little easier to transfer because you know how to represent workers. But as an organizer, it's a little different. They get transferred most than the reps. But we get transferred also.
And how long have you worked for SEIU1021?
1021 since 2007 when they merged. But I've been with SEIU for 23 years.
And Andy Stern was a big pusher of the mergers, mega locals. From your point of view, how has that affected representation of the rank and file?
I think that the merger was a good move, but I think that we didn't think about how we were going to represent this big region of people.
It's a lot of members.
Yeah, it is. It kind of just spread us kind of thin because we didn't increase our staffing. We still operating with probably like 88 staff people, that does representation. And yeah.
What does the sign mean? I'm Jessica Lawless. Sign means that those of us who are union staff, who work for the union as staff, we're also union members, and we really want to have the same kinds of job security, respect, and dignity that the members that we fight so hard for have in their contracts. Our union contract is not as strong, and with the right to work laws that are coming down, we are at the front lines of the people who will be losing our jobs very soon, and we have no information from our management about what's going on. And so we're anxious workers hitting precarity who need to have the same kind of protections that unions fight for.
And nationally, the SEIU has said they're going to cut 30% of their budget. What does that mean to the workers, the thousands of workers who work for the SEIU?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the anxiety that we have. I came to working at the union from being an adjunct professor, which is one of the biggest groups that has been organized by SEIU in the last few years. And I spent 9 years after earning graduate degrees living precariously, paycheck to paycheck, on food stamps, on unemployment. My partner is a food service worker. Like, we've been struggling in this economy, and when I got this job, I was really excited to have the security of what this kind of job had and to be fighting for things, that are meaningful. And now I'm feeling really similar to what I did when I lived for that long, not knowing what was coming next. And that kind of anxiety, we all can talk very concretely about what that means in our lives, the fears economically that means, that, leaving the Bay Area because we can't afford to live here, what it means for our families. And it also really is an emotional toll on one when you live without knowing what's coming in your future for that long. And we're at the forefront of the labor movement, and we should be able to be in a position of leadership alongside our management.
Now, some members like Daz have been fired, terminated without going through a proper grievance procedure. Are you surprised by that? And how can this union, SEIU1021, represent the rank and file of the union when they violate their own union procedures that they have with the CWA here?
Right. So honestly, I don't know enough about Daz's situation to speak well to that. I am always disappointed when one of our CWA members loses their job and we don't really know enough of the information as to why to that specific situation. I see it more as there's been a pattern of people who lose their jobs, and it proves to create more anxiety. We don't know if it's messages towards us because we're in bargaining right now, and generally bosses pull moves when you're in bargaining to make you nervous to take actions and step up.
And one of the issues that I've heard from SEIU 1021 members is they have new business agents. They're transferred all the time, and by the time somebody gets acquainted with the job and the situation in that area, they're moved to another area. What is the effect of these transfers for the workers who work for the union?
Right. So what I think the best model in organizing is when the people who are organizing and repping new members or existing union members is to truly be able to create real relationships and deep relationships. And when we get moved around from campaign to campaign, it creates instability for us and for the workers who are organizing.
And there's an attack on public workers now, attacking public worker pensions. What does the labor movement need to do to really start standing up and fighting back? Good question.
We need to stand up and fight back. I mean, I think that it is a big question, because on my end, I would think that's a lot of restructuring that moves into a more horizontal type of organizing versus a top-down management that operates like a corporation. So that way, we're all facing similar effects, and we are feeling aligned with the workers as much as we are with each other, rather than some people feeling really secure and not really thinking about those effects.
Well, Andy Stern had a big role in merging unions, making these mega locals. What has been the effect, you think, on the SEIU with mergers that encompass all kinds of locals throughout Northern California?
So I honestly can't speak to that. I've been working here for 3 years. I only know it as a merged local. So I think there's people probably can speak to that much more better who existed through it and lived through it and have thoughts about that.
Yeah.
Well, don't be blocking the door on us.
Here's the problem. CWA and 1021 has the same law firm, Weinberg, Roger, and Rosenthal.
That's true.
I found out SEIU
You're
521
being recorded.
has the same situation.
Right.
So it's like, that's why they're not taking your cases to arbitration.
Well, I mean, for us,
It's a law firm suing the same law firm.
Give me one.
We're just right now mainly. I think we're talking about the contract, right? So they offered us a 1% extension with a 3% raise.
But you guys need to dump.
And we said
CWA needs to dump Weinberg
I hear you,
Roger
but I mean
Rose.
I'm just a worker like you
Yeah,
guys.
I
don't
know
make
that.
decision.
Yeah.
But here's my thing: is that we just need more job security than a year from now. That's when right to work is going to hit. There's going to be layoffs.
Well,
We're looking for a couple year long contract extension. We got to improve our layoff language. You know, we don't even have any severance language in there or anything like that. You know, we just need better job
you
security.
guys don't even have retiree health care.
No, of course not.
But beyond that,
But I'm used to that, right? Because I was a member in a non-profit for this
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
for 10 years. I was a
learned.
member. Progress Foundation, no pension, no retirement, no nothing, right? So, hey, it's not, for me, I'm in the labor movement not for the money or anything like that. However, I really need to have a little bit of job security. You know, I need the health care, honestly. I mean, my wife's a cancer survivor. If they got Obamacare, how am I going to get her insurance?
sure.
Well, we're
Right?
all
If I lose
fighting
this
the
job,
same battle,
we're all
baby.
fighting the same battle. That's all. So let's get together. Let's get this contract done.
but
Let's get
there's-
together and
yeah.
fight the real enemy,
We
Trump.
publicize
Let's
it
fight
all
the
the time.
fascists,
We
right?
wear our stickers every
Right on.
time we
Yeah.
go in. So you guys are doing a.
You went over to
hell of a job.
911.
My name is Omar Fall, and I'm from the San Francisco staff. And we're here today as a CW member and SEIU staff in order to fight for our contract, make sure we have a good contract to help us fight through the right to work laws and help our members get better contracts.
And what issues? I mean, there's an attack on labor in general. Why is there something like this going on inside a union?
Well, that's a big question to ask. But we think that everybody's afraid, view the uncertainties that they're having. But in order for us to do our job and promote, help the labor movement go forward, we need to have some securities, and that's what we are all after.
And I was here yesterday. There was a protest for Daz, who was fired. Is this a problem as far as termination of workers without proper procedures and due process?
That has also been an issue here, and those have to be addressed through the bargaining table, and it's been something that we have been faced before.
Now, I mean, the union, SEIU1021, represents 55,000 employees throughout Northern California. If they're not following the rules, the labor rules, as far as your rights, how are they going to defend their members? I mean, if that's a problem, I mean, it seems to be a contradiction.
Well, you said it yourself, and I wouldn't know about that. And in order to fight for someone, you have to have the same rights, or the same guarantees. So if you're doing that for your members, I don't think that we'll be able to secure many more members because they won't believe in us.
And how long has your contract been expired?
The contract just expired in December 15 of this year, and we rejected a 12 months extension because of those uncertainties and actually what we have to do for those members, because we were able also to get 2 years extension for them. So why are we offered a 1 year extension?
And what are the arguments of management? What is Roxanne and the management saying here at Local 1021?
They haven't said anything so far. I just spoke with Roxanne. She was very positive about where she wanted to go with the union and addressing a line of communication, better line of communication, which is what I told her that we were here to do.
And are they worried about your picket here today?
They were worried about it, and but this is what we do for others. This is what we are taught to do, and this is what we're going to be doing.
And the rank and file members, you have some rank and file SEIU 1021 members
Yes.
who are here. Why are they supporting you?
They're supporting us because for what we were able to secure for them, and they understand those issues. We were there for them, and it's logic that they're here for us as well.
Now, one of the issues is the transfer of business agents. I understand in Oakland, they haven't had one for some time, and they move business agents around quite a bit. It takes time to learn a job. To properly represent the workers. Do you feel that there needs to be some protection so that people can actually learn their jobs before they're representing workers?
Yes, and those are the concerns that we're going to put across the table during bargaining, and we hope that our proposal will be accepted in order to avoid those type of transfers and type of disruption with members and staff and all that.
It takes a long time to learn
That's
a
correct.
particular job and all the forces. And
It does. And if you have to always start from zero, you're not moving.
so actually this would help the members.
Definitely. It will definitely help the members, yes.
Okay, thank you. And how long have you been a member of the union?
I've been a rank and file member for over 15 years and now staff for the last 5 years.
The decision, Frederick's decision, how it might affect the unions.
Well, with Frederick versus Frederick, it affects the unions, all unions, because now you lose the ability to have agency shop. And without agency shop, it's going to affect how we do business, because dues goes toward representation. So it'll have a big impact on the unions. And so I think that the calculation has been that they'll lose like 50% of their staff, all unions. And you'll have to actually go and hand collect dues. It won't be an automatic deduction anymore. So that would probably become the job of the field rep, is to go out and hand collect dues.
What would that mean?
That means that now, not only do we have to do representation, but, like a lot of people, especially in the public sector, what's fearful for me is that a lot of people that are in agency shop in the public sector, do they really want to be in a union? Or are they just there because they have to? So that'll be the telltale sign. So, right now we're trying to go out and talk to members and educate them on the why so they don't get bamboozled. Because a lot of people see it like, oh, great, I don't have to, be in the union anymore, but they don't understand. It's going to affect everything from collective bargaining to, the language of their contracts, and it weakens the base.
Isn't that the purpose of the thing?
Of course, it's to break the unions. Yeah, and also the political aspect of it. Because although we can't use dues for politics, still, if they know that we have members that we can turn out to vote on issues that are important to working families, that's another way to bust the union and also to take away the rights for working families.
But it seems like the billionaires have a lot of money and resources.
Oh, of course. They don't have to worry about health care, right? They don't have to worry about retirement. They don't have the worries that normal working families have if they're going to send their kid to college or not. So, yeah.
So if this happens, if they pass right to work in California, do you think 50% of the workers in these public worker unions will leave?
Yes.
They feel that they're not being represented then. Why would they leave?
Well, I don't think it's just about the representation part of it. I think that, a lot of people have lost faith in unions. And so,
Why is that?
That's the $1 million question. I can't answer it.
You think it's going to revitalize the labor movement if they have to fight, really, and you don't have an agency shop? It could have an effect of saying we're going to really be a fighting union.
You think about Wisconsin and how they lost the right to collective bargaining, and so you use that to, educate the members to show them that this is what we really need. And, not being a member is not the answer, because we have to have a strong membership base in order to get what we want in these contracts.
Well, has the union educated people about the effects of Wisconsin on the right to work laws?
I can't speak for the organization as a whole, but me, myself, yes.
I mean the membership. The membership of 1021, are they educated about what happened in Wisconsin and what the cost was to workers, union members there?
Yes. Yes.
You think there's a danger of another Wisconsin in California?
Definitely. Definitely. If we lose agency shop, definitely. What's scary for me is that I come from a right to work state. I come from Texas, but I've been in California for like 35 years. And my cousin, he actually got injured at work where he almost lost his leg. And so I said, oh no. I said, you have rights. Let me see what the rights are for you. So I go on the internet and I Google, workers' comp in the state of Texas. And I find out that the employer doesn't have to have insurance for workers' comp. So it's if they want to. So my cousin actually had to go to a county facility and he almost like lost his leg because of it. And he was injured at work. A pole went through his leg at work. So, the laws that are in place, with these contracts that we have as far as, the right to workers' comp, if you get injured on the job. If you right to work, it's not that they have to do that anymore. It won't be a law that they have to abide by.
Why haven't the unions educated people about the effect of right to work and what the cost is to working people?
I can't answer that.
I mean, that's an important issue. You can't get care for your injury when you get injured in a place like Texas?
Yeah, people don't know because we've been afforded all these protections for all these years, and it just doesn't dawn on people that, hey, one day I could wake up and all this will be gone. And I think that's the education piece, to help people to understand what right to work really means and how it will affect them and their families from here on out.
And that's what Trump wants to bring on.
Yes. Yes.
Union-free environment?
Yes.
Especially against public workers.
Yes. Because all his friends got money, right?
I think that for me as a rep, if my members are out on a Sunday, then I'm going to be out there with my members. If my members are out there on a Saturday, I'm going to be out there with my members. I've been out now for a year for some personal reasons, for some illness, but prior to that, my 2 years that I was here, I don't even know who my CWA rep is. I know that they've had meetings, but because of my illness, I haven't been able to attend, so I can't fault them for that. But the 2 years that I was here prior to, I never met my rep in my office. I'm concerned about that. It's something that concerns me. It's something that if I did that as a rep for my members, I would be written up for, or I'd be terminated. So I'm confused.
You want accountability.
Yes, I definitely want accountability. I want to be able to shake that person's hand, not just during negotiations, not just during a membership drive, not just during a coat drive. I want to shake that person's hand in my office. And 2 years prior to my illness, I had never met my CWA rep. Oh, they're going to say, well, you can come to our meetings. Okay, I have meetings, but I also go to my members. I walk around my members' shops as a representative, and that's a concern for me.
Do you think there's a general problem in the labor movement? The CWA is supposed to be a progressive union and supposed to be standing up for the members?
I'm not sure. I know that there are some CWA folks that are really good, like DeWitt out in South Carolina, who actually got me involved in labor.
How did you get involved in labor?
I got involved through the OI. Mr. DeWitt in South Carolina sponsored me to go to the OI. The reason how I figured this out was I went to a reparations rally in D.C. and someone gave me a flyer. And that's when it started back in '02. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's a wonderful thing. I did this because I know that we have people who need something, and organized labor, to me, was the only way to get it done. My mother, just prior to her death, she became a steward, and one of the most exciting things that I can remember is we didn't have to pay for anything. And that was exciting to me because we're a poor family. We've always been a poor family. And, it was because of her membership in her union that we were blessed not to have any cost at all for that. And that's something that I can always remember. My father, he was one of the first black folks in New York to become a subway engineer. And that was because of the union fighting with the city to make sure black men and black women had an involvement in transit. So there are some good experiences for me as a black person, but then there's some ugly ones, such as not being able to get a job when I was in TV because you had to be grandfathered in, and I didn't have no grandfather. And I know people in the construction business who couldn't get construction jobs because they were black. I knew people I lived by docks in Brooklyn, and black folks couldn't get on the docks because of the ILA. You had nobody to get you in. So I had some good and bad experiences. But my best experience I've had in the labor movement is what happened with my mother. That's the thing that brought me. One of my favorite experiences as a rep is when a member came to me that they were trying to fire him. 2 years later, he came up to me and he wanted to thank me because he said, "I can leave on my own terms now." And that was my best experience in labor, and still is.
And this right to work movement, open shop, the management of this union is saying, well, we don't know how many members we're going to have. That's why we have to have a short contract. How is the union responding to right to work in Trump, and how do you think it should respond?
Are you talking about the local or our union?
Both local and the CWA.
I'm not.
A lot of the unions are in the same boat.
That's the question I can't answer because I've been out of touch for a year. I know everyone's walking in fear. I don't know if fear is the best way to approach. I think that we should be proactive. I don't think that the union should be caught up in emotional issues. I think that we need to be looking at the fact that if we can bring those grassroots people, which are the working white folks who didn't support us, if we can bring their issues back to the forefront, which is health care, which is wages, which is job security, I think that can overcome a lot of this stuff that's going on with the right to work, because they join unions. A lot of those people are family unions. They're ancestral union members. Their families have been in unions forever. And now they don't see this unions as what they had or what their parents had, because they think they're not fighting the battles for them anymore. So I think what we need to do is stop looking at the fear issues that the Republicans are creating, such as immigration rights, such as gay rights. I mean, those are serious issues. I'm not trying to get away from those. Those are very important issues. But they're using those as a smokescreen to keep us as unionists away from our members, which is the fear of Social Security laws, which is the fear of health care, which is the fear of job security. And they're using those smoke screens, which are serious issues, to keep us divided from our working class members. And I think that's the issue we should be fighting for.